A hole, yeah.
Tell me if I wasn't muted. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. We're doing an ad hoc stream where we're doing some work on my Swordmage. So I've been playing the Swordmage Biscuit the Merry. Right. I've been playing the Swordmage for how long have I been playing it for? Nearly 20 sessions now. We've done some revisions over the course of those 20 sessions. And there's a few things that are issues with it that I need to work out. Yes, Biscuit, I did shave. And now it's growing back again. I took the beard off. And I'm now growing a full beard. Yes, I do indeed look younger. Right. So, we've got the main issue with the Swordmage as it plays at the moment is that the resource drain is too heavy. So we've got both the Swordmage abilities and the spells all using the same resource pool, i.e. spell points or mage points. And the problem is that, well, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but the problem is that the moment that resource pool is depleted, you lose all your spells and all your abilities, and all you can do is basically a simple melee attack. Now, in theory, that's fine. I mean, it's fine for a full caster. Because firstly you've got a large resource pool, but also because you've got a large resource pool, having you've got the all or nothing thing there, so you have once you use your resources you have none left. Hey Mike! But for a half caster it's a bit, it feels constraining, because the points that you're using for the abilities feel too expensive. You're burning through those resources very quickly, and also you've got a small amount of resource to start with. So the first thing we are going to do is split off the ability, resources and spells. I wanted to do this more more or less since I started the build, the homebrew, because I wanted a way of keeping spell slots, and I couldn't work out a way of having the teleportation do what I wanted and keep spell slots, and have them use the same resource pool. And one of the problems with it there was it was advised to me fairly early on, you only want one resource pool. Having multiple resource pools is a bit iffy. So I don't want to have the teleportation use its own point system, like sorcery points or what have you. Because I think that's going to get too complicated. Hello, kitten! Because you then get the issue of, do you want to be able to swap points for spell slots like the sorcerer does and that sort of thing. So I'm going to try and think of another way of doing it. So that's your sort of resource pool drain issue. Teleportation. I want to find a different way of doing it. We've got 2 stages to the basic teleportation. We've got the stage at 3rd level, which is kind of like Misty Step, but you can go longer distances with extra cost. And then you got the 2nd step at 10th level, no, 8th level, which is more like Dimension Door. So you can go a much longer distance, you don't have to have line of sight, those sort of things. So you got those sort of 2 stages. There is teleportation circle, teleport, and the sort of gate spell later on, but those are one-off things that you just get as ability. You go and do your stream, Mike. Have fun. And so it's basically the sort of what I call tactical teleportation. And I want, firstly, I want to have the 2 steps more coordinated, so they work better together. Yeah, I was amused too, kitten. And yeah, so I want them more coordinated, and I need to work out a way of doing the distance, whether how we do the cost, whether we limit the number of teleportations, whether we apply cost to it. We'll look into that in a bit. The 3rd aspect that I want to deal with today, and in fact we might do that before the teleportation because I know what I want to do, or mostly know what I want to do, is the arcane techniques. Again, we've got the problem, it was inspired by 2 things. On one hand, it was inspired by cantrips. So you've got a sort of little bit of magic with each attack. Hello, SR. On the other hand, you've got that it was inspired by the sort of Paladin Divine Smite, where you're using spell slots to basically add a load of damage to your attack. And what we ended up with was something in between, with a cost that was once again too expensive for what you get. And still not quite. I love the system that I've come up with. I might reuse it in another class. I love it, but it doesn't quite work for this. So, what the flavour that I wanted to achieve was to have an option for a little bit of magic with every attack. And so originally I tried just a set amount of damage on top of each attack, but that was too overpowered. I've now moved to sort of adding cost to it, but yeah, the cost, as I say, the cost drain is too much. So what I'm now thinking of doing is saying, okay, let's use the bonus action to apply the arcane technique to the attack. We'll reduce the effect of the arcane technique, and we'll see where that takes us. So that's the plan for the stream. We might not get through all of it. If not, I will probably do another stream, maybe after our D&D game on Sunday. But first things first. Okay, first things first, we're going to redo this table. Bear with me a moment. Right. So yeah, first things first, we're going to redo this table. Oh, the other thing of note, Homebrews is now switched to version 3. I'm using the legacy renderer for this, because unlike most of my other homebrews, I haven't had a chance to revise it for the new markup yet. So we'll carry on with that for the moment. Right, let's copy this. And we'll go all the way down. It's the other way. So this is going to be our new table. And the first thing we're going to do, which is probably going to be incredibly boring for anybody watching, but that's not what I wanted. I'm going to add the spell slots back in. There we go. Which of course means that I need to bring up the spell slots for half caster, which I will put on my other screen. So that you all don't have to look at it. So the first thing we want is first second, third, fourth, fifth. And we've added 4 columns, so we need to copy that. Isn't that more or less the same as add to every attack straight up, because you, with only one weapon, no shields, you rarely have use for a bonus action. Anyway, possibly. But then you have, for instance, with the monk, you can use your bonus action to take an extra attack. So I mean, using the bonus action is better than just straight up adding extra damage. You have another idea. What is your other idea? Use the damage type, but something's not more. Well, I mean, I like the idea that I had already that you're restricted to a single element type anyway for your arcane techniques. So that was part of the the restrictions. It's not too overpowered to be able to choose your damage type. I mean, that's effectively what you're getting with spells, or I've seen some custom classes. The original Critical Role Gunslinger, they could use. Actually, that used grit points to define element type. I mean, I'd like it to have the ability to do extra damage. Just not stupid amounts of extra damage. I'm thinking of only applying it to one of the potentially 2 attacks as well. So in some ways it would be sort of like sneak attack, except you can trigger it more often, it just does less damage. This level. Four. 2. Electric music. Yeah, I know. The trouble is, the choice of royalty-free music is very limited in terms of what you can pick. I've tried to go more for the sort of chill stuff that I should have done this bit off stream, because I'm sure it's highly boring to watch. 343. 9th level is 432. Yep. Are these all just 4s now? They're all just 4s. Yeah. So it's very difficult to balance all the things, because, as you've pointed out many times, the newer stuff tends to be more overpowered than the older stuff. I just realised that I didn't need the mage points column. Oh well. But the thing is, Artificer faces the same problem. Well, you've got the same problem. A lot of the half-casters have the same problem, is that you're trying to fit in. Okay, let's go the other way. The non-casters are easy because you just have abilities. The full casters are easy because you're basically just spells. In the middle, you've got to have a mix of abilities and spells without ending up too overpowered. And you end up with things like Base Ranger, which end up being underpowered, and you have things like the Artificer, which is overpowered. So it's difficult. The Paladin works reasonably well. But then the Paladin it achieves most of its stuff through auras. So those sort of passive enhancements are fairly easy to add without upsetting the balance of the game. Right, never mind. 10th level we have 4, 3, 2. going to start at the bottom again now. Right, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2. Yeah. Yeah, so it's difficult to the other thing you've got is the fact that the full spellcasters, when they get to the higher levels, do an insane amount of damage. As do rogues, for instance. So all their benefits come at the... Let's see what way you're looking. That way. All their benefits come at the latter end of the spectrum. Fighters, because they're more survivable, and they have the armor class and what have you, they're much better at the lower end of the spectrum, and their abilities level reasonably well, but when you get to the top end, they're not doing anywhere like the amount of damage that spellcasters are. And when you got something in between, again, you've got to get that right mix. So you've got to go, okay, is this class weaker but does more damage, or is it more tanky? But does less damage, but with some other aspects. Yeah, artificers are, yeah. I don't really like that class, to be fair. I mean, I built an artificer alchemist, and rather than using spells, I just had potions. And yeah, we had a budget to buy potions. It was a one shot, but you realise very quickly that the game is not balanced to allow for players having a large number of potions. So even with just a haste potion and a potion of a couple of potions of Dragon's Breath, for instance, and potion Dragon's Breath will give you 3 rounds worth. Basically, every round you're breathing fire or what have you. And that's just potions. It's not using any of it's not draining any of your resources other than the consumables. So, admittedly, any class can do that. It just seemed appropriate for the alchemist. If you had to buy them, that's crazy expensive. Yes. But then the alchemist can make them. You are totally distracting me. But then it's my fault for not being able to multitask. So, you know. 16 is 332. I mean, there are people who are better capable of focusing while doing multiple things. Whether they can actually multitask or not, probably not. But yeah, if I'm switching my attention between one thing and another thing, it's actually a dyslexia thing, right? There's a few second brain readjustment between each time you flip. So the switching between is even less efficient than it is for a normal person. Oh, the other thing I will say, in terms of balance, the advantage and constraint of switching to going back to using spell slots is that you're restricted to the number of spells you can cast at whatever level. When you're using points, you can cast more higher level spells simply by adding together the points that you would have used for the lower level. So yeah, in doing this revision, I am actually reducing the power of the class. There we go. So, what have we got? 2, 3, 3. 2, 2, 3, 3. That should be 2, 2, 3, 3, not 1, 1. What did I just change? I just changed the wrong one. 11th. 3, 3. There we go. 2, 2, 3, 3. Then 1, 1, 2, 2. So that needs to be 1, 1. Uh, 13th level. 1, 1, 2, 2. And then 1, 1, 2, 2. This is Ranger Light, yes. Or Paladin. I'm actually using the Paladin table. They're the same. It's a standard half caster. So there we go. That is our new table. Mage points column we need to remove. But I will replace that with something else. Teleportation question mark. And I'll copy that and change those. So that I'm reminded we need to do something with it. There we go. So this is our table now. The arcane elements known as the same number as with the cantrips. Teleportation is the thing we'll deal with in a minute, and then you've got spell slots. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to have to change all the gumph about using mage points for casting spells, but that's fine. I can copy that from the standard rubbish. Right, so then we've got our arcane techniques. So the way that it works at the moment, you got 5 elements. So you start off with 2. And then on any given morning, or I think after a short rest, you decide which element you're going to prepare. Just like with any kind of spell casting. So you then pick your element and you go, which of the elements that which of the selection of elements that you know. So you know 2 elements. So let's say you start with fire and cold. Okay. And then each morning you go, right, today I'm going to prepare the fire arcane techniques. Basically that means you then have access to these 2. And the way I had it... Oh, where's that? Kitten hosted me. Okay. It's just you. Thank you for the host, Kitten. So, so you have access to these 2, and you can then basically be able to use your mage points so that when you hit with an attack, you can go, right, I'm going to do extra damage, and depending on my level, I can spend X number of points, right? So each has an elemental attack, which allows you basically to add elemental damage to that attack, to that target. Fire is the only one that actually works like Divine Smite in that you can plug more points in and add more damage. So it's essentially 1d6 for each point. You have lots of ideas, Essa. Write out your idea, and I shall evaluate it. So yeah, everyone, all of them has this elemental attack, and it, like Divine Smite, you do the attack, you add the elemental attack element to it, and it does extra damage to that target. All of them also has this other arcane technique, which for the fire is called Leaping Flames, which allows you to do damage to a second party. So the Leaping Flames is modelled off Green Flame Blade, and basically you go, okay, I spend a point, and now this second target within 5 feet, the first one, gets fire damage. What I didn't like was that the two were separated. I separated them so that you're not doing damage to a second party when there is no second party. You're not spending points to do damage to a second party when there's no second party. So I wanted to keep them separate, and it also then means, well, if I've got 3 points in a round, I can put 2 points into the elemental attack and 1 point into the Leaping Flames. It becomes a bit unwieldy. So you get, okay. Yeah, so rather than including the damage modifier. Yeah, it's a possibility. Although, if your primary modifier is 0, that's not terribly fun. I mean, yes, you could go minimum 1, but... Or maybe up the damage. Yeah, you've always got the difficulty. You don't want to make it too overpowered. You don't want it to be something that just happens every time. You've also got to bear in mind that at 11th level, your base attack gets an additional elemental damage anyway. So... where are we? Yeah, this one. Improved elemental attack. So by 11th level, your melee weapon strikes carry elemental power with them. Again, this is like the improved Divine Smite from Paladin. Whenever you hit a creature with a basic melee attack with your bonded weapon, the creature takes an extra 1d8 damage of your selected element type. So, like with Paladin, where when you hit 11th level, you're doing your base attack plus 1d8 radiant damage. With this, you're doing your base attack plus 1d8 elemental damage. It's just auto damage, yes, at 11th level. So effectively, you're using 2 attacks to do the damage of 4. Let's find it. Proved my... Yeah, I've almost directly copied the text from the Paladin. So we wouldn't necessarily want the damage to increase with spell level. Can you do 1d10 as Swordmage? So, yes and no. Right, so basic Swordmage, you are limited essentially to any bladed weapon that does not have the heavy property, I think. So you don't have to wield it two-handed. But the problem with the Swordmage of wielding something two-handed is you lose 2 points of AC from your ward. So your ward is +1 rather than +3. So you're trading off armor class for additional damage. One of the subclasses, the Assault Aegis, gives you access to the heavy weapons. So you're designed to do that trade-off. You're designed to be a heavier attacking person. Whereas what Archimedes is a shielding sword mage, so is more focused on the shield. So 1d8, yeah, that's basically the maximum damage you're going to get for a weapon. In normal. And also, because I know that I'm the one playing this, I'm not going to deal with edge cases. It's designed to be... It's designed to allow me to play the classes I want to play, rather than designed to be completely and utterly balanced. So, Paladin, level 11, strength 20, 2 attacks. 1d10, 1d8, plus 5. Where does the 1d10 come from? You're just assuming that... Yeah, I don't think you're going to get a single-handed 1d10 weapon. Let's bring up the weapons. Oh, it's the two-handed property I don't know. No, but anyway. Weapon proficiency. Oh, there it says. Yeah, so let's assuming that we're just going single-handed weapon for now. Okay? So you're gonna have 1d8 for the weapon damage. You're gonna have plus at 11th level you're gonna have plus 1d8 of an element type. And then you've got plus your modifier, or if we use that as arcane techniques. Than that. Yeah. Exactly that. But the question then is... Yeah, exactly. The question then is, well... You used a 1d10 there. Would you rather roll a 1d10 for elemental damage, or would you just rather get a plus 5? I think on the whole, people would rather a plus 5. Which then goes, well, those arcane techniques are basically redundant. Yeah, so you get a choice, but the choice is not really adding anything. You're using up an ability to give you something that's not really a benefit. I mean, yes, if you went, it's for free, and it doesn't cost any bonus action, it doesn't cost any points, but it feels it doesn't feel like it's doesn't feel worth it as an ability. It's like it's almost just flavor, really. Then you want it to have some kind of actual mechanical benefit, and I think I could get away with it doing extra damage. But it's not volatile, random magic. It's carefully honed craft. But I mean, the other thing you have, so you have mechanisms like the Barbarian Rage, for instance, that you use a bonus action for, and then essentially for the rest of the encounter you get a free bonus to your damage. You have things like Hunter's Mark. Cast one bonus action spell. Okay, you got to maintain concentration on it, but it's not even that high, and you get a d6 addition to every single attack. Yeah, it's a spell slot. So this is one thing that we could look at, and we can go, okay, do we say, okay, yeah, but I mean the cost is minimal for that spell slot. I mean, do we say, so let's take the example of the Barbarian and the Druid, the Barbarian Rage and the Druid Wild Shape, right? So you've got a limited number of times that you can do it per day. It takes, I think, a bonus action both to activate. I'm not sure about the Wild Shape. Certainly the Rage takes a bonus action. Okay, Wild Shape's an action. Although it gives you rather more benefits than Rage. I mean, the other thing with Rage is you get advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. You got your damage increase. And you get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. So you go into a rage, you do extra damage, and you've effectively doubled your hit points. So what we could do is we could have some kind of limiting factor of going, right, you had to activate your arcane techniques. Yes, that's true, but I mean, if you're doing straight additional damage on your attacks, or even just one attack per round, as you go higher, that the impact of that is going to get less. So what we could do is say, right, you had to activate your arcane techniques. We'd have to put some kind of limitation on it, but we say, okay, you activate it, it lasts for a minute. But during that time, any attacks you do add additional elemental damage. That would be better than just free damage every time. We'd have to think of some kind of limiting factor. I mean, rage ends if you haven't attacked or taken damage. Let's look at the druid. Wild shape. Limitation on wild shape is the challenge rating. Also, you can't cast spells. You like the newer stuff? Sorry, I missed that. What did that relate to? You can do it one time for free, and if you want to do it more times, use the spell slot. So we could have you activate, use a bonus action to activate your arcane techniques. You can do this X number of times per short rest. and if you want to do it more times, you use a spell slot. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you're restricting it that much, you've then got to potentially add some versatility to it. Or do you? Because I suppose you're doing extra damage. And we'd simplify it. I do like the ability to use arcane techniques as a sort of area technique. So you're doing extra damage to your target, but you can also target something within 5 feet of it, for example. I liked the idea of actually having a higher level version that was much like a sort of dragon breath thing. So it was basically, so say at 11th level, you could essentially do a sort of burning hands thing. The choice is nice. What, to choose the element or to choose the target? I still want to limit that. Unless you make the choice at the point that you activate the arcane technique. You could say, so that you go, right, you activate the arcane technique and you choose an element. That way you're... Yeah. Because that was what we were talking about. So you activate it, it lasts a minute. That's how you keep the restriction. What I liked about the idea of having you choose after a long rest, in the same way you do with prepared spells, is that it gives you that situation where you go, right, I chose cold, and now we're facing a white dragon. So yeah, the original idea was it's like cantrips. So you start off with 2, and then you get 3, and then you get 4. So on the level up, when you increase, you get to learn an extra element. And you got the ability and the techniques associated with that element. And then which element you have access to for that day, you would choose at the end of a rest. So you end up with the possibility that you picked wrong. Same with prepared spells. And you can end up with having an arcane technique of an element that actually the thing you're fighting has resistance to, or even immunity to. But what we could have is we could keep the sub techniques. I might vary it up a bit, but you, rather than choosing the element type, you choose the effect. So you still get to choose the effect, but the effects don't cost anything. So let's copy this. I think you could end up with a situation, and that would be intended, where you pick an element. The new ranger subclass chooses the element with each battle. Is that in Fizzbang? I didn't actually look at that one. Drake Warden. Yeah, but yeah, I see. But you're summoning a companion. So it's an alternative sort of Beastmaster thing, I suppose. You get an ability to Drake's Breath. where you get to choose the element when you do it. Now I know why you said this was overpowered. The monk class is not as bad, I think. No, when you have a dragon breath for the monk class, you get to choose element as well. Well, I'm not going to go that bad. Still a restriction because you have to select on level up. Yeah, so you're limited to the number of elements you have access to. Right, we'll take that table out. So you don't need that. So you learn additional element types of your choice at higher levels soon. Okay. Use any arcane techniques from the element type. There's a part of me that still wants to restrict it to a single element type. Let's look at Barbarian class. So Barbarian gets a set number of rages, from 2 to 6 to unlimited. Druid, Wild Shape. How many Wild Shapes do you get? Yeah, it's not very clear, is it? Yeah, it's clear, but it's hidden. Right. So, I mean, if we're going to do it sort of like rages, then we've got to have something that causes it to drop. How dare you, cat? How dare you? But if we're going to... Okay, so the process is... I'm going to start with known elements as per table. Select element after rest. Because I still like that. Activate techniques. One plus buy more with first level spell slot. Plus maybe more later. Per short or long rest? If it's just one, we'll say per short rest. Lasts 1 minute. If we're doing long rest, we have to have more activations. Because bear in mind that D&D is standard, regardless of how you play it, expects you to have up to 6 encounters a day. Which would then mean we get to use arcane techniques on 1 encounter. Okay. Drake Companion. Once you summon, you can't, unless you or hide something. Okay, let's look at the monk ascendant dragon. So the monk one, you can use it number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Per long rest. Plus, you can buy more. Now the proficiency bonus at level 2 is only 2. Oh yeah, okay, that's an effect where the ranger, you're summoning a drake to fight with you. So the drake can then act every turn. Okay. I need to bring up the artificer, don't I? Right. Which one has the outridge cannon? Is that the artillerist? Once you create cannon, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest on 2. You spend us. Create one. You can only use one. Okay. So we'll do it once per long rest, plus you can buy it. But if we're doing that, we've then got to... We can then increase the potency of it. I mean, the cannon, for instance. I can't see well. No, because I'm talking and there's a delay. So for instance, the artillerist flamethrower, right? So you generate a flamethrower. It lasts an hour or until it's reduced to 0 hit points. But it can do a 15-foot cone of fire, dealing 2d8 fire damage on a failsafe. Every single turn. And you create it for a bonus action. So that suggests that our arcane techniques can do up to 2d8 damage per... You fire it for a bonus action. Regardless, it's basically suggesting that we can add up to 2d8 damage per turn. If we do it that way. I think the same probably applies for Drake. React. Again, the Drake, you have to use your bonus action to command it to do something. This is the problem with companions. Cones are not really representative. I mean, usually it's 2d8 against a single target, or 2d6 against a range of targets at a cone. You often can't use them because of friendly fire. Okay, well, I mean, the Drake still has an action of bite attack, which is extra damage, so. What you're essentially getting is a third weapon attack as a bonus action. Which is basically why I was thinking I could just add them to a bonus action. But yeah, it also has an activation as well. But then a companion is also extra hit points. It's an extra creature on the field. So. Right, so number of known elements as per table. You select elements after a rest. You can activate once per long rest, but combine more with a first level spell slot. Lasts a minute. During that minute, do you then add the technique to every attack? One attack per round? I suppose it depends how much damage it does. Barbarian's Rage is added to every attack. But then, how much is the Barbarian's Rage? +2, +3, +4. To every attack. So yeah, rage damage is +2 at first, +3 at 9th, and +4 at 16. So then choose a technique to add to each attack. From the selected element. But only when taking the action. Yeah, it's a weird progression. Although you'll probably find that the progression has been mathed. So it's based on how the class as a whole progresses. Right. Okay. So we then need to adjust the attacks, the techniques. Now, some of these elements, so for acid you've got three techniques. You've got the straight up extra damage. You've got a binding strike. Which gives an attack to it advantage. So it's like guiding bolt, kind of. And then you got splash damage. Again, with cold you have straight up damage, splash damage, and granting disadvantage. Fire only gave 2-2, so you've got straight up damage and splash damage. What I tried to do with these was make them all different, so you're then actually debating which to choose rather than just go, okay, well I'm doing extra damage, but this time it's fire rather than cold. And as I say, one of the things that I wanted to do was give a broader range stuff. I could actually keep most of these, to be fair, and just adjust the damage. More versatility is less spam. Yeah. So let's look at this. With a melee weapon, you deal so how much damage do you want to do on each strike? Now that we're not doing points anymore, these all have to be the same. Now I can't scale it because the scaling is done by other means. So you get, so the cantrip scaling applies because you don't get extra attacks. Whereas this, you have one attack, then two attacks, and then both attacks do an extra d8 damage at level 11. So that's your scaling. The difference here is that when you get the extra attack, you get to apply the damage on both attacks. Yeah, you don't apply it with the attack action. So here you choose to add you choose a technique to add to each attack, but only when taking the attack action. So when you're casting a spell, and a number of the Swordmage spells uses the sword, you can't add to your arcane techniques. Then it scales with more attacks. Yeah. So okay. 1d8. When you hit a creature with melee attack using the bullet, you attempt a binding strike. Target must make a Constitution saving throw. Failed save. Attack roll as advantage. So this is then where you've got the conundrum. Oops. Because if you're dealing damage to multiple creatures, I've got this one that deals damage to up to 3 creatures. We'll leave that for now. Right. You... deal cold damage. Jump to freezing strike. Yeah, this is making all the elemental attacks boring. I'm gonna raid Mike soonish. I'm not gonna go any later than 9. In 20 minutes. Because I need to go to bed. Okay, good night, Essa. Thanks, Essa. Good night. No, I've got 5 people watching me. It's just you're the only one talking. I suspect most other people watching me are also watching Mike, so... I need to have more thought on these techniques. On how I actually apply them, because now I need to distinguish between the elements more. I have some people that are not in mics as well. Oh, that's nice. So some people here watching solely for the D&D stuff. Yeah. I'm going to do more thought about these techniques. Because I don't want the different techniques to just be, oh, you do X amount of damage, but only in this element type. I want there to be choice differences between the elements. And maybe you get the splash damage if you crit or something. Anyway, it's 9:15. I need to start thinking about going to bed. I haven't done anywhere near as much as I wanted to. But maybe another stream on Sunday. And carry on. I can try and think about more things that I want to apply here. And how to make the different elements different. Yeah, okay. We will go and raid Mike then. Mike, of course, is playing Far Cry 6. So yeah, right. I'll switch from my finish screen and I'll do the raid. Join us all in Mike's stream, and we'll see you again on Friday, where me and Mike will be doing some more Guild Wars 2. We're going to do some sailing over the weekend in Sea of Thieves, and yeah, on Sunday after my D&D game in the morning, I will probably carry on doing some work on the Swordmage stuff. So yeah, thank you everybody. Good night.